Municipal Soccer Water Festival will be held in Sauk River Park on Thursday, May 12th. That is next week.
Melrose Park. Soccer.
Okay, Sauk River Arena if it rains. So, Sauk Centre Civic Arena if it rains. The festival is co-sponsored by the City of Sauk and Melrose and the Sauk River Watershed District. Kickoff will start at 9:25 a.m. and will end approximately 1:45. Volunteers are needed to serve, food, pots, and etc. The Public Works will assist in the Melrose Public Works Department setting up as well as other city employees. I encourage the council to attend and show support. Also, we have the CapEx 2020. Judy Haydinger has rendered her recommendation to the Minnesota Public Utility Commission on the proposed route for CapEx 2020 from Fargo to St. Cloud. This proposal, as it relates to Sauk Centre, states that if the line cannot pass through Sauk Centre along the I-94 corridor without impacting 12th Street or the airport, that it should take the southern route. The commission will consider the recommendation at upcoming meeting. You may recall in the past we had testimony from Judge Haydinger right here at City Hall several months ago, voicing our concern about their 12th Street proposal at that time. So it's good to see that they were listening to what we were saying. Also, we have an invitation to the Water Contaminant Forum sponsored by the Sauk River Watershed District to be held in Albany on May 18th. We have Community Cleanup Days, Metal Recycling, Civic Arena Parking Lot, May 20th to the 21st. Hazardous waste recycling will happen out at Beckwith on June 18th. There is volunteers that are needed to help with that. And then we also have our citywide arena garage sale May 21st. These people are encouraged to participate.
I have a question on this CapEx deal. There are no more hindrance on that. It's just PUC just makes their recommendation on what they don't have to necessarily follow this.
No, this is her recommendation. They don't have to follow it. This is her recommendation to them.
Right. But it pretty obviously is going to impact 12th Street.
They had some various proposals on the table during the time of the public hearings. There was a lot of conversation going back and forth. The city, Xcel Energy, the FAA, and VinDOT Aeronautics. And we all had met a couple of times on that. And Xcel Energy had a couple proposals on how to go with lower poles, come across the freeway, a double line pole lower to the ground. They had a couple different options to go through Sauk Centre, not going on 12th Street, but going closer to I-94. And so we don't know what that's really going to lay out like exactly, because Xcel was being pretty cooperative actually in taking into consideration our future plans for the airport and staying out of those flight zones and flight paths, and the FAA is quite strict on that. So if they can put together a plan that meets those specifications and they can work with the landowners, they may still try to go there, because I think it's a less expensive option than going south. But the judge recommends that she doesn't want them impacting either the airport or 12th Street. So I think 12th Street sounds like it's in the clear there. I'm not sure yet, though.
But ultimately, the PUC does the final ruling on the route.
The Minnesota State PUC, not our PUC.
Exactly. So, and I can tell you, it appears that from Judge Haydinger was the one who actually did the recommendation to the Minnesota Public Utility Commission on the first half of the CapEx 2020 route, which was St. Cloud to Minneapolis. Monticello, excuse me. And she went through the same process. I believe it's a very similar process as she did here with this route, going west. And so I believe if you look at what she proposed and what the PUC, Minnesota PUC actually approved, was very similar in regards to her recommendation. So we're hopeful that this holds true as well as it comes to our community.
We have received a request to reserve this room actually for a public information meeting in the coming weeks regarding CapEx 2020. So once that gets put together for sure, and there'll be some advertisement of that as well. So there'll be public information coming out.
So who's supporting that? PUC or Xcel?
This is coming from, you know what? It's actually CapEx, so it would be Xcel.